yes, somebody actually left Austin versus moving to Austin. Hello everybody, I'm Jack Lerond, your Nashville and Fairview, Tennessee area real estate agent, and I'm going to give you 5 reasons today why I left Austin, Texas. If you like this video, please comment, subscribe, or like. I suspect I'll probably get a lot of feedback on the things I'm going to say today. And if you are looking to leave Austin and possibly come into Tennessee, my contact information is here. You can actually call me at this phone number or text me. I look forward to hearing from you. All right, first of all, a little background. I moved to Austin from San Marcos, Texas after graduating Texas State. When I chose Austin to live, I chose it over cities like San Antonio, Dallas, and Houston. And the reason being is Austin at that time was known as the coolest little big city in Texas. And what I mean by that, it had a lot of the attributes a big city would have, but not all the crowded people, not all the hustle and bustle, not all the mind-blowing freeways and interstates. So it was a great little city that had a bunch of outdoor spaces for concerts, for hanging out in the park, for riding your bikes, for jogging, for just basically getting outside and being in green space. So that's why I chose Austin, and Austin was kind of up and coming with the technology sector, specifically because Dell Computer was there, and so there was a lot of advantages for job opportunities as well as quality of life. So the first reason why I moved out of Austin sort of contributes to this boom in IT. So overcrowding. So during the highlight of the boom for technology, not only did Dell set up shop there, but a bunch of other companies set up shops over the last 20 years, including some of them have moved their headquarters out of California for obvious reasons to Texas. But when they were doing that, they were importing a lot of folks to come work at their offices there, specifically right out of college. I worked for Oracle for a while, and they were recruiting on college campuses, and they gave those recruits 3 options to move to. It's either Boston, Redwood Shores in California, or Austin. So tons of them picked Austin, and there'd be upwards of 10,000 new people moving there just for that one company in a year. That being said, Austin welcomed everybody with open arms, but did not create any new streets, bridges, or roads. All the development took place to house all these people, and it became very overcrowded very quickly. All the enjoyment that I had for the green spaces outside quickly got filled up, and there just wasn't the same vibe, and the kind of the DNA of the city changed what felt like overnight. And so this peaceful, quiet, big city that had this really cool laid-back vibe became like one of the big cities in Texas that I didn't particularly want to live in. Also at that time when I was living there, I was a single adult, so that was a great place to live because you could pretty much just hang out, meet people, and have fun, go to the lakes, go to the bars, go to the restaurants, go to the outdoor spaces. It was just a really cool vibe for a single person, right? Second reason I moved out of Austin. So as my life progressed and the crowds of people came in from all over the world, the city itself kind of lost some of its pristineness, I guess is the best way to put it. And again, I'm not dogging on Austin. I still love it. I go back, but as quality of life and being able to do what I want to do, it just kind of changed overnight. So the city, because of overcrowding, became really congested with traffic. With all the traffic, all the people that were the city just didn't maintain its cleanliness in regards to all the green spaces. So it became quite dirty quite quickly. I've traveled quite a bit to Silicon Valley, San Francisco, San Jose, and the city of Austin very quickly became that kind of look and feel, what again felt like overnight. And so again, I had a history with Austin of what it used to be versus what it became. And then I was like, man, this just isn't a fit for me anymore because it's not the city that it was, which is the reason why I moved there. Number 3. So obviously with all the people moving in there, all of the builds going on, Austin became a pretty expensive city to live in from a cost of living standpoint. I know some people on the West Coast and the East are like, oh, nothing compared to like where we're at. But again, my perspective is on I moved there, what it was like before versus what it was like when I left. So the city of Austin, because the state has no income taxes, is on its own in regards to how it assesses property taxes to pay for all of its services. So the city of Austin, Travis County has, when I left, anywhere from 5 to 6 independent taxing districts, and those taxing entities could tax you on the value of your house independent of what the others were doing. So they weren't trying to come up with a value of tax rate, but it was just like, hey, we need this tax, so we're going to increase taxes. And I think the last taxing district that was created right after I left, was to fund services for Dell Children's Hospital, which is right down near downtown Austin off of Interstate 35. So the cost of living increased, the cost of housing increased, and then the taxes on those houses, increased. So if you could find something downtown for $500,000, typically, the taxes were around 20 grand for that. So it's kind of steep over a yearly basis. I know there's, homestead exemptions and those types of things, but still, you look at the cost of living prior again to when I moved there versus when I left, it increased substantially. I wish I had some numbers for that, but I don't. But that being said, again, that was another reason I moved, was for cost of living. So reason number 4 I left Austin is the school system. So we had a relative that worked in the Austin ISD, and she would tell us that the classrooms average 45 students per class. On top of that, which is just way too many students, on top of that, anytime that she experienced an issue with a student and the parents were contacted, the parents typically told the teacher in the school, you deal with it, it's on your time, I'll worry about it when they're on my time. And anybody knows that the quality of an education, the value of a school, only is derived from the partnership between the school and the parents sending the kids to the school. So that was a big issue. We looked at that and said, I don't think we want to have our kids in there. So we just figured out, well, what are our options? We could do private school, or we could look elsewhere to do something more drastic. So that brings us to the 5th and final reason why I left Austin. So as I indicated earlier before, I also was in a IT sales job. So Austin is a location that, for quality of life reasons, people wanted to move to work. And in my space, which was in the technology space, a lot of Austinites who were born and raised there actually had to move for job purposes with companies that were located in Austin so they could continue their career advancement. Well, they were first in line for the premium jobs in the job market in Austin when they came open, so they could move back. So unlike Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas, the Austin job market is quite a bit smaller compared to those 3 cities. So for advancement, especially for those, field type roles or even the manager type roles, there was usually a pretty big line of seniority people in front of you asking for those jobs. And so companies typically told their people, like, if you want to advance, you need to go live somewhere else for a while and do the work there and then potentially come back. So that's what I explored doing and found opportunities east of Texas. And so with that opportunity, I was able to move Austin. And I lived overseas. I've traveled before. I hadn't seen much else, outside of Texas from where I moved to. So I took that opportunity and said, you know what, I'll go get a job over here for a while, which I said earlier, I ended up in Tennessee, and I'll move here, do the job here that I was not able to do there, and then also take my family ideally to a more welcoming environment for those things I talked about earlier, such as the quality of the schools, less crowds, better infrastructure moving around, and hopefully a better cost of living. And as anybody knows, Tennessee also does not have a state income tax, so I'm not getting taxed on my income, nor like I was in Austin. So those are my 5 reasons, and if you would like to add any yourself, please comment below, or if you'd like to make any additions to what I've said, also comment. Again, I'm Jack Lerond, your Nashville and Fairview, Tennessee real estate agent specializing in new construction. I have more videos on my move to Tennessee and why I'm focusing on new construction here, because that's what's being built. Thank you.